even though that does about
Is going to try for another Will-O-Wisp. Will it hit? No!
the cryptic part would make sense, and you might wonder, well, why did
And good evening, trainers, and welcome to another episode of Silph Co Sports. My name is the Dodd, producer for the Break Room on New Rockstars, one of your amazing hosts tonight. And joining me today is the elusive Gems from ATX VDC. How are you doing today, Gems?
Hey, I'm doing great, Dodd. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. This was it's interesting because we were talking about this before the show, right? This was supposed to be like a slow show because the VGC's over, right? We've already had the World Championships and everything like that. But there's a ton of news that we have tonight.
There's so much news. We were sitting down, we thought we had cut down a bunch of the news, and we realized, oh wait, we did cut out all of the fluff and then went back and added all the important news that happened right after our last show last time around. So there's so much to catch up on, especially given kind of the release cycle where we're at. We're getting trailers from the Pokemon Company like roughly every 2 weeks leading up to Scarlet and Violet, it feels like now.
So good. It's so good.
I'm so excited. I cannot wait. We are,
I know.
what, about a month and a half away?
Something like that. Yeah. I mean, I remember a couple of days ago, I saw on Twitter there was like 69 days away. Of course, it was getting recirculated because of the number.
Of course,
but like that's still like it's only 2 months away, and that was I think a couple weeks ago. So we're getting real close. It's in November, right? So the first part of
in
November,
my mind, we're already at the beginning of October. That's not the case. We're only mid-September, so we are exactly 2 months away right now. I believe it's going to be on the 19th. So yeah, just about 2 months away. I cannot wait. I'm so sad I'm gonna be at my new job, so I can't just take off the entire Friday to play like my original plan was, but you can bet that I will be playing early and late and trying to get an Australian release
copy. I may just be sick that day, I think I might just be sick.
Hope no one is watching from New Rockstars on that one right though.
Right. We've got a very special treat tonight too, as well as all the rest of this news in our first ever Silph Co Sports charity match. We have yet another legendary matchup between Adam Santacos and our reigning champ, NinoPokebros. They'll be playing a Vogue Grassroots set playset tonight, a little set that you may know as Spikmuth if you're all over Twitter. I've been corrected. I thought it was Spikemouth at the beginning, and then someone's like, there's not even an O. And I'm like, you're right. Damn it. But Spikmuth?
I say Spikmuth, yeah.
Spikmuth. It's Spikmuth Cup, right? We're going all the way back Pierre style here. VGC showcase for you tonight. Honestly, one of my favorite gym leaders in the whole Gen 8 anyways. VGC showcase tonight in an epic battle to raise money for childhood cancer awareness. So again, everything that goes tonight is all going to charity. Geeklife is also, for every sub that we get tonight, we are donating that money also back to charity afterwards. So anything, subs, bits, donations, anything and everything that we make tonight, all of it is going to fight childhood cancer awareness. So super excited about that.
Yeah, for sure. Adam has been crushing his goals for September. He's been streaming on a weekly basis every Friday night. And this is his stream for this week on Friday night. He's already raised over $1,000 for the Beebs Brave Heart of Gold, which is going to raise money for cancer, as we mentioned already. Our goal is to get to that 1,200 mark maybe next. Maybe help get Adam past that mark. That'd be really, really cool tonight. So the organization, The Cure Starts Now, is a grassroots effort dedicated to the elimination of pediatric brain cancer. The fundraiser is in memory of the Adam Santacos' daughter, Annabelle Santos, who passed away from DIGP, brain cancer, in January earlier this year. So that was a really tough time for the Santos, and also for the VGC, the ATX VGC community rallying behind Adam. We had some really awesome things that we were doing with Beebs. We got an opportunity to throw a tournament for Beebs where she got to play the winner of the tournament, which was so cool. But yeah, would love to help Adam go ahead and get over this next little fundraising hurdle as we move on, and hopefully we can get some more donated there.
I remember I was a competitor in the Big Brave Beebs Cup. It was a great, it was a good time. But yeah, so that's what the cause is for tonight. So everything tonight is going to a good cause. So please if you guys feel free to do that. Anyways, before we get started, quick reminder to like, subscribe, sign up for the Battle Club application for your chance to be showcased on the stream and take on tonight's winner and receive some awesome prizes. We usually have prizes on this show, but tonight, of course, everything is going to the stream. So, Elite Pokebox is a big sponsor of this program as well. They usually provide something that's really, really cool for the winners of each show. But again, of course, tonight we're on a little bit of a special agenda. Anyways, now that we got that out of the way, Gems, what's on the agenda for tonight?
Yeah, for sure. We've got all the updates on everything that we already mentioned is a ton of updates that you need to know about. Everything from Worlds to recent Unite updates, as well as our match of the night, which we've already been talking about, with the defending champ NinoPokebros taking on Adam Santacos, as well as we're going to close it out with our top 10 plays of the month.
Yes, and top 10 plays of the month is always a fun time. We got a lot of Unite clips this time, but at least some interesting VGC clips that are going to need a little bit more of explaining than usual. But honestly, those are some of the best ones. So super duper excited about that. Well, that's a hell of a show that we've got to get to. Let's start it off with our first story of the night. What's going on in the world of VGC, Gems?
Yeah, for sure. So Series 13 has started this month as the official format for the ranked ladder before the Scarlet and Violet release. Series 13 has no restrictions on how many previously restricted Pokemon are brought to the game, which includes the most powerful Pokemon in the game, things like Groudon, Kyogre, but also mythicals. For the first time ever, you're allowed to use mythical Pokemon on the ranked ladder, which is a perfect send-off for Sword and Shield and a treat to all the players who've collected those throughout the years. Many people within the VGC community have, rather than using Series 13, have moved more towards a grassroots rule set that we've already talked about here on the show called the Spikmuth Cup. So Spikmuth named after the city where you can't Dynamax in the Piers gym battle. And that is basically the rule set here. We're going back to pre-restricted rule set where it is no restricted Pokemon as well as no Dynamaxing allowed. So it's different from any series that we've gotten a chance at so far, but it's going to be really exciting. The purpose of this format is really for trainers to get the opportunity to improve their skills without Dynamax. It's something that has been so centralizing to VGC's meta for the entirety of Sword and Shield, and this is going to be an opportunity to get back to more old school VGC / how we might be seeing it played in the upcoming Scarlet and Violet games. So you'll be able to look forward to seeing that rule set in action tonight. Victory Road's World Cup is also wrapping up with the remaining 4 teams being Canada, Australia, France, and Thailand. France also had a massive comeback from, I think they were down 0-2 and then came back and rallied behind it. So the teams are going to face off in 7 vs 7 formats. They'll all be best of 3s. All the remaining games will be on the Series 12 rule set. You can check out some of the matches over on Victory Road's Twitch and YouTube channel. This week, the semifinal week, September 12th through the 18th. We're also looking forward to the finals, September 19th through the 25th. Finally, the Scarlet and Violet released a new trailer, mainly detailing a few new Pokemon that seem to be getting the community incredibly excited. We've got 3 that we're going to focus on right now. The first is Cloth, which has the ability that's basically a built-in shell smash called Armor Shell. When it gets hit, it's going to drop its defense and special defense, but raise its speed, attack, and special attack. The other 2 Pokemon that were introduced were Armorage, which will be unique to Pokemon Scarlet, as well as Kraluge, which will be unique to Pokemon Violet. Both of those are fire types, but they flip, Armorage being a psychic type and Kraluge being a ghost type. Both of them have brand new moves called Armor Cannon and Bitter Blade, which are fire type Drain Punch and Close Combat respectively. So can be some really interesting new moves used from that. Additionally, we got a lot of information about new moves and items from a competitive focus trailer after the World Championships. That included the reveal of the move Terra Blast, which is hidden powers back, but only if you're terastallized. So it'll be a normal attack when you are not terastallized, but it will change to your Terra type when you are terastallized. So additionally, the new item that I'm really interested in seeing how it plays out is the Hooded Cloak, which will likely have the biggest impact on the meta. So it turns all moves' secondary effects off. So a Pokemon who is faked out actually won't flinch. They'll take the damage, but they won't flinch. Scald will never burn a Hooded Cloak Pokemon, as well as it's going to limit the random number impact of those devastating secondary effects, things like a Flare Blitz burn or a paralysis off of Thunderbolt. Those things aren't going to happen to the Pokemon holding that Hooded Cloak. So I really like this new item, and it allows for the players to take a lot of that control back from the RNG. And it'll undoubtedly be a plethora of new strategies related to this item as we go forward as Scarlet and Violet release.
Yeah, there is so much to talk about with these competitive updates here. I mean, like, there's even more that we couldn't even get to here, like the new Sylander, or
Yeah.
whatever, having Shed Tail, this new ability where it's basically like a U-turn and substitute all in one. I think that's going to be absolutely crazy. Another one that I thought is going to be very interesting to see in the meta, for me in particular, is the Mirror Herb, which essentially is going to be reflecting any stat boost that you get from the other side, i.e. someone belly drums across from you, you get that belly drum too.
Yeah.
And I thought about this. If you have two Pokemon with Mirror Herb, right, and one Pokemon that doesn't have Mirror Herb belly drums, is that three belly drums that are essentially going off in one turn? That's nuts.
Essentially, yeah. You're kind of banking on your opponent getting the mirror proc for you to get your proc on top of their proc,
Right.
but it's
If
still
that still
really
works, I don't know
crazy.
if that works,
Yeah,
right?
we'll have to see exactly how it works out, but I really like that mirror up. I forgot to mention that because so much has happened since that trailer released. But I cannot wait for all the different strategies that are going to come out of that. I think it's going to be really, really interesting once we hit those more limited or more unrestricted rule sets, things like the national decks, before we hit something like a restricted format where we get potentially Ultra Beasts back and we start seeing Mirror Herb against opposing Ultra Beasts. That's going to be really, really interesting. And, I think it's going to all of a sudden impact how you have your IVs and your EVs on all of your Ultra Beasts to make sure that you maximize your own utility and limit your opponents.
Yeah, no, I think producer Upsmash in chat brings up a really great point. We just come off of a meta that was so prominent with weakness policy, right? And then now all of a sudden we have this mirror. I mean, essentially, I feel like weakness policy, that essentially drops weakness policy out of the kind of the meta for a lot of reasons. I mean, Dynamax was also a lot of reasons why weakness policy was so viable. But now we're going to go from a meta where that was like, kind of one of the go-to back pocket items that you could put on any team and be like, okay, well, where's this team's biggest tank? Okay, boom, I can Dynamax that weakness policy, pretty much good to go. Slap it on and it's out of there. And then we're going to a new meta where you have Mirror Herbs and there's like no Dynamax. Seems like that's going to just drop off the face of the earth.
Yeah, I mean, I think it will, especially just with the lack of Dynamax even before the introduction of this item. Without doubling your HP, it's a lot harder to take a super effective hit. It'll still be prominent.
Still like you'd be tempted to with Colossal still being there. It's just there, just like, oh well, maybe just a little surf off of a Weavile, I can get it, or I don't know. It's dangerous, but I feel like people are gonna play around with EVs and IVs and try to still make that work. But if with the Mirror Herb out there, honestly, that I don't know if Colossal is gonna even be something that you want to throw out there. Do you want to potentially throw out Colossal and get all of that setup just to give it to Amon right across from you as well? I mean, that's
yeah. I don't think we're gonna see quite as much Colossal without that Gmax Vocalith going forward. So I think potentially, I know we're all terrified of it after the first, several players clips where it dominated. But I think we're gonna be okay without it.
I feel like people are like, oh, you don't think Colossal's viable in this meta? And they just kept on bringing it back, and I just feel like they're gonna still figure out a way to do it. But maybe that's just Gen 8 trauma, But yeah, of course, that's not all the news that we got.
Yeah, it's not. The one thing we haven't really touched on is Worlds. A little bit of the elephant in the room, considering how the weekend ended up. But I had a little something I prepared I wanted to talk a little bit about, mostly because it's something that's was weighing on me a lot as I was watching and reacting to the World Championships. So so last month, the Pokemon World Championships did occur for the first time since the global pandemic hit. A lot has happened in the Sword and Shield era, and most of that's actually been through grassroots online tournaments. That's really kept everything alive. I was so excited for live events to be back. I met some of my closest friends through this game at live events as well as through online, and I was so excited to watch some of those friends compete. My sleep schedule for Worlds was awful. Luckily, my wife was out of town, so she wasn't here to experience me waking up at 3 a.m. to watch as the set started. But it was, to start off, the first 2 days were absolutely incredible. However, as we approached the top 8, like a pit really began to grow in the pit of my stomach. Just started feeling awful. For those of you who are unaware, the two players that went on to compete in the finals in the Masters division for the video game championships are two people that are truly awful representatives for our sport. Eduardo Cunha, a little over a year ago, was discovered sharing incredibly misogynistic messages in a public Discord that encouraged rape culture and encouraged transphobic attacks on people. This was not his Discord. However, how he reacted when his messages were shared more broadly spoke to his true character, in my opinion. From there, he immediately apologized and vowed to do better. But that turns out to have been completely false, because exactly 3 days later, another round of screenshots surfaced from his time in a private Discord, this time stating that people were only trying to, quote, cancel him because they're afraid. Clearly, he lied about it once, and he engaged in transphobic behavior that actively promoted rape culture in that first Discord server, and then claimed to be above canceling in the second. So the second place, Guillermo Castilla, is someone who's also engaged in transphobia on Twitter. He's also led a hate raid against a prominent non-binary player in this community. That player had blocked Casti, not wanting to have Casti interact with him. So not having to interact with him was something that, you know, didn't really want to happen. And then Casti sent 70 viewers to go harass this player and ask them why Casti was blocked. Luckily, they were able to shut that down pretty quickly. But still, engaging that kind of behavior is, in my opinion, really gross. So neither of those two players should be representatives for this community. I've had people criticizing anyone wanting to speak out against Edu, with the oft-used line that right-wingers bemoan, cancel culture has gone too far. Why can't you just forgive them? They've changed. To this, I'll say, Edu may have changed, sure. But the type of people that get second chances here tend to have one thing in common. They're all men. We've given countless men second chances without the effort put forward towards rehabilitation. And today I'll posit this question: why? Playing Pokemon Tournament isn't some inalienable right. How many people feel unsafe and uncomfortable around these people at live tournaments? And how many of those people won't go to events where they know that those players will be present? Why does a redemption arc by someone who proved their first instinct was to lie matter more than the people who were either directly bullied or have been bullied by their defenders? There should be a path towards rehabilitation, but it should be necessitated upon making amends. Edu going to therapy for a year is good for him, but but what consequences has he truly faced in the Pokemon community? The fact that they faked his mic not working after his top 8 win, or the fact that he still got to play out the remainder of this season, despite all these messages surfacing? Someone like this at events is a danger and shouldn't be allowed. Being good at a children's game doesn't mean you're above ridicule, or you're above ridicule for your friend not sleeping with someone who's too drunk to consent. It doesn't give you a pass on transphobia and bullying, and people want to know what the way back is. And in my opinion, it's sit out a season, not an online circuit season, because that's what he did sit out, but because that's not punishment, and since apparently all of their friends are continued to talk to him throughout. And for the love of God, if you're the kind of person who attacks others on the internet for pointing out incredibly valid criticism of people like Edu and Casti, get a life. It also had this effect to completely overshadow an otherwise amazing weekend. People aren't talking enough about the Megan Rattle versus James Beck rematch, absolutely mirroring 2019, or the rise of Rin Moon. I'm just really sad that this is the takeaway that people are having to talk about from this event. I really want better for our community, and I want that to come from TPCI and take accountability for these players, and remove the option from those who feel uncomfortable around them, that, you know, we're the ones that have to self-select out. I don't think that that's right, and I really think that TPCI should make a change to its policies and procedures going forward.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I couldn't have said it better. I think that people that complain about cancel culture, I mean, there has to be some line where people are also held accountable for their actions. And there's such a rare opportunity to be able to become Pokemon champion. It's such a rare opportunity to be able to do this. Why the hell would you give that to somebody who does this kind of damage? I don't want to linger on this too long, but no, I agree. I support everything you said, and TCPI needs to do better. Sitting out a season, I think, is a minimum, but I have lost jobs for doing, for mistakes that I have made that were so much less impactful than the kind of mistakes this person has made repeatedly and chooses to continue to do so. So having some kind of consequence attached to the end there is what consequences are literally for. So, again, it's a rough one to linger on. There was so many impressive things coming out of London. And so many cool things to see and talk about, but it is a bummer that we had to end on that note, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But with that, I guess there was another event going on at London that I think you might have a little something to say about, as well as some other
Sure.
updates coming out of Unite. So that's all I'll say on VGC for right now. I'm looking forward to next season and definitely hopeful that TPCI can do better.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, as you said, there are plenty of things that were going on in London as far as the Unite Championship. It's one of our first Unite Championships that we've ever gotten to experience here at Worlds. But there's been a lot of things that have been going on in the world of Unite in general. Mew has been released, a range attacker that gains a boost counter after every move, which can be used to deal psychic energy damage. It does a great job in both offense and support departments, and its moves are strong enough to knock out opponents, even while also making allied Pokemon so much stronger. Mew has been an absolute menace in the meta, and honestly, the meta really has not adapted around it, just like many new Pokemon out there. But we've got even more Pokemon that were added on top of it. So now it's the second to next Pokemon that's been added here, and it still really hasn't settled into the meta as not broken. I mean, everybody's got to run a Mew on their team pretty much at this point. Solar Beam that early on in the game, it's just absolutely incredible. But everyone's favorite three-headed bird, dotrio, dropped this past Wednesday, refreshing the meta once again. Dotrio being a much more frail, squishy mon, very, very fast, a speedster type that is really supposed to just kind of hit and run kind of mon. Meta really hasn't evolved around it yet. A lot of people are kind of sour about Dotrio, especially with a lot of the changes to Unite lately around buying new characters. Dotrio being the first mon that's offered only exclusively through gems and not through some kind of free event, claiming people are wanting to Tencent's wanting to make this game more pay to play. Now, I think that if you look at a lot of the things that Tencent's been going through as a company lately, you can probably understand why they're probably trying to take a more aggressive approach with monetization right now. But that's a whole other story. Scizor will be joining the fray on September 28th, and finally releasing October 13th, Clefable will finally join, one of the first Pokemon that was data mined in the roster, and one of the first Pokemon to join the roster after the extended first anniversary celebration event. Of course, some of the biggest updates to the Unite meta have been the new arena change. Rimawat Stadium, or Remote Stadium, however you're supposed to say it, has been replaced with the new Thea Sky Ruins, which replaces Zapdos with Rayquaza and many other different mons throughout the field. It's really been a unique transition. I think that top lane and bottom lane have really switched in priorities. Rotom being replaced with Regieleki is now really the highest priority kind of buff that you want to get. Whereas you see a lot of the Regielekis on the bottom being, some they're kind of tossable and some are kind of, you know, more important than others. The priority hasn't necessarily been, I feel like, really fleshed out yet. The biggest change to me though is the jungle, being that it's more spread out, a lot easier for you to farm really, really quickly, a lot easier to just pass through, gather up the creep that you need and move on. But defeating Rayquaza also is different than Zapdos. Defeating Rayquaza gives out a different effect than before, providing players with a strong score shield instead of their goal scoring speed. It's a big buff, but it won't allow teams to score instantaneously, meaning players have a lot more chance to stop that last little Rayquaza push from really, really getting the rewards that they need to. But the real story of Unite right now is the renaissance of Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime has gotten some incredible buffs, including an absolutely broken power swap. If you need to, tune into WD Michael's Unite streams. You'll see what I'm talking about. But Mime has been an absolute menace. Anyways, Gems, I know that you're a little bit not as familiar or haven't played as much Unite as VGC lately, but with the release of Mew and Dotrio plus Scizor and Clefable on the way, which mon are you most excited to see in Unite?
You know, honestly, Scyther was one of my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon growing up. It was so rare. And Scizor was like the most hype thing when it evolved in Gen 2. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. So I'm really excited about Scizor coming. And I would, I've had some friends that say like, now's a great time to join Unite. Also hearing Regieleki replacing Rotom sounds like the Pokemon companies continuing their complete and total domination of Regieleki. Despite that one tweet where they said it may not be powerful, but it sure is fast. Still one of the biggest trolls I've ever seen trying to claim that Regieleki is not powerful.
Oh my gosh, Regieleki is so broken. And it's still broken in Unite. It's one of the harder buffs to get too, right? I mean, this is one that like Regieleki, I feel like, is just more tankier than Rotom was and heals a lot quicker than Rotom did.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not like being like super persistent on it, you really can't get it. But I am telling you right now, I talked to you about this frustration before the show. I'm gonna make dotrio work, okay? I know everyone is saying dotrio is terrible and it's too frail and it's too squishy, and you know what? They're right, but you know what? I'm gonna try to figure out a way to use this mon because I love dotrio. It's one of those mons that calls after me. He's got the two heads that are always in agreements. He's got the one derpy head that's just like really pissed off to be there, and I just think that's fucking adorable. And he is a lot of fun to play, mostly because if you take him as a hit and run, and then just like try to like repeatedly dunk as much scoring as possible, he can be pretty fun. He's got a huge movement buff. He basically, his whole attacks are based around if he's in full sprint mode or not, right? When he's in full sprint mode, that happens when he's running around outside of combat for just a little bit of time. It gets a movement buff, so literally he's running faster. And its moves essentially get a buff too. So Drill Peck now goes like halfway down a lane versus like being right in front of you. And it also gets the other moves that it has is agility, which essentially can replace that as like an X speed on demand, that you can just tap and replenish that bar completely. So you really are just running out, waiting for your Drill Peck to get back, coming through, and then running away. And it's a very weird mon to play that I feel like I haven't found the right pairing next to it yet, but I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna make it work.
When you do, let me know. I love to watch it. It sounds like a lot of fun to watch. Just, coming in, picking off things like a little sniper, pick something off, get in, get out, and then get back to safety as quickly as possible. Or, just go down real quick and just respawn later.
Exactly. Right now, I'm playing off stream and then clipping the good clips just so I can send it out as pro dotrio propaganda. So
there you
people
go.
will think that this is not, you're just using them wrong. They don't see the matches where I like get absolutely annihilated the entire time. But
selective editing, that's what it's all about.
Selective editing, exactly. But that's everything that's going on in the world of Unite. Now we've got a quick update from the blob behind a curtain with all the upcoming Poke events. What you got for us, producer Up Smash?
Good evening, everyone. Hi, I'm Up Smash. I am the person who streams this out for everyone. And it's time for the Up Smash updates. So, we're going to have Little Root lessons at Spikmuth, VGC qualifier numero uno, tomorrow at 10 a.m. So be sure to get that up. Be sure to get up nice and early so you can have a really good time for that. Next, we have the Victory Road semifinals in France and Thailand at the 17th, at September 17th, and Australia and Canada at September 18th. After that, we have the Dark Aura Setopolis League with Sundays at 5 p.m. Central Time and 6 p.m. Eastern. And after that, this is the big one. We're going to be having the Pokemon Unite Shuffle with the Wide League at October 8th. That one's a great one. You're not going to want to miss that one. Also, on top of that, we have event Pokemon that are out. So Shiny Eternatus will be at GameStop for US and Canada, and EB Games at New Zealand and Australia from September 18th to October 1st. You cannot get this Pokemon anywhere else. This thing was shiny locked. So if you like Eternatus, and I know you all guys like Eternatus, then yeah, you should definitely try and swing over to GameStop and pick a code up. Also, just released today, you can actually have Ashley Lucario on your team. So if you feel that you want to have Lucario on the team, let's see if I can just pull up the code right here. Take this code. There it is. I'll get that in the chat really quick for you right after this. I know you guys don't have all day, but overall, pretty good lineup of events that are going on. This will be a great time to get into the Spikmuth. Overall, I'm gonna send it right back to the guys over on the desk. Hopefully you have a great day.
Thank you for that update, producer Up Smash. And it seems that even though World is over and VGC is in its off season, a lot of events going on, a lot of Spikmuth. And I know that I won't be available this weekend, but I'm looking to see if there's a weekend out there where I could get just a little Spikmuth in there before it starts. But you said that you're also I believe in chat that you're going to be doing some casting for the Setopolis League. What is Dark Horse Setopolis League?
Yeah, the Dark Horse Setopolis League is another draft league that's currently going on. So I'm doing some of the casting for that. I've done 2 of the games so far this last week on the Sunday evening broadcast, and I'll be away for the next couple weeks. But when I get back, I'll also be helping out both with staff behind the scenes and doing some of those broadcasts. So it'll all be, it's a mix of Series 13 and Spikmuth, mostly Spikmuth, but it'll be really, really fun. It's a player draft league where I believe the draft happened a couple weeks ago now. Yeah. We're in week 2, so yeah.
And it sounds like Producer Up Smash is in that league as well. And then of course, as Producer Up Smash was emphasizing on there, you don't want to miss the Pokemon Unite Shuffle with the Wide League. Wide League always puts on a fantastic tournament. I believe this is their first Unite tournament that they're doing. The prize, I believe, is like at $750. So
that's awesome.
Absolutely insane right now for that thing. I'm definitely going. I'll be casting for that as well. So October 8th, don't miss that for sure. But that'll about do it. That'll wrap it up for this first half of the show. We're going to take a short break, a very, very short break. But before we do, big shout out to Real AJJN and ATX VGC for the follows. Remember, guys, all donations tonight is going to childhood cancer awareness. So please send in those donations. We'd love to see what we can give to Adam Santacos. But when we return, we will be back with our third title fight and our first charity fight between the champ NinoPokebros and Adam Santacos when we return with Silph Co Sports after this break. And we are back with our match of the night, brought to you by the Wide League and WD Michael. We have our match of the night, of course, sponsored by Wide League, the Wide League Battle Club. In our blue corner, the defending champion, you know him as the man in the Pokemon tuxedo, the father of gamer milk and sheninja enthusiast, our defending champ, NinoPokebros.
And his challenger this evening not only has a master's in education, but also is a master of tacos. He's a key member of the Texas Tyrannotars, our coach and manager at that. He is a man on a mission. He is Adam Santacos. This should be an incredible matchup between these two players. Dodd, who do you have your money on between these two right now?
Listen, it's hard not to pick the Pokebros in this situation. They came off so hot in the last month's match. And of course, you got to see where the Sheninja is going to come in there. Sheninja always being a really, really tricky mon. And of course, Pokebros is the master of it. But we do know Santacos has a couple tricks up his sleeve. And you've gotten a chance to even look at some of the teams that Santacos is bringing here.
I did, yeah.
Santacos' chances.
You know, I love Santacos' team coming in here. Adam and I were doing some sets earlier. I've got a match tomorrow morning for the Texas Tyrannotars, so I was looking for some Spikmuth games. Adam was getting ready for this matchup and didn't want to reveal the sauce to Nino ahead of time, so I think this is going to be really fun. Spikmuth is a really interesting format right now, and it feels like there's so much that's viable. Like, we just saw Nibs earlier tonight, who's hanging out here in chat, win with the Sand team with Tyranitar, Excadrill, and Togekiss. I felt like I was back in Series 3, so I'm super excited to see. So much is viable. I don't know how viable Sheninja is. It feels like it's more of that like Dynamax deterrent, but if anyone can make it work, it's going to be NinoPokebros here.
Hey, look, I always love a combo where you can sweep with the Steel type, so I'm a sucker for it. Anyways, without further ado, let's get to this match.
Let's get into it. We've got them. Yeah, it looks like they're getting ready to get in here. Participating team is Spiky. I like the gym leader right there. So they are matched up. They were waiting on us. They're ready to go. So we're going to jump right into it here, Dodd.
Yeah, it looks like it. Of course, you've already seen this team for Santacos. What is Santacos bringing with us tonight?
Yeah, he has got his signature Pokemon. If you know one thing about Adam Santacos, it's that he loves tacos. If you know two things about Adam Santacos, it's that he loves tacos and that he loves Greedent. So never going to miss an opportunity to put a Greedent on a team. So here we got Greedent. Yeah, right alongside that Kartana, Nihiligo, Incineroar, Urshifu, and one of my personal favorite Pokemon to use, Clefairy.
Yeah, a very, very interesting set here. Clefairy getting a really, really good spotlight here in Spikmuth, but also another one getting a big spotlight here. Not Venusaur. We talked about this before, but Lilligant really getting a big surprise push here in Spikmuth. We got Lilycole, so Torkoal there. And we are back. Somehow we are back right in here. We see a lead here of Incineroar, Kartana, Indeedee, Hatterene.
Yep. Incineroar Kartana, really great setup right here for Adam Santakos. Unfortunately, not into Indeedee Hatterene with the Psychic Terrain blocking Fake Out, as well as that Hatterene likely going to be able to pretty safely get off something like a Trick Room.
And that's what we see. A Follow Me lead here with a Smart Strike coming in for Kartana. Incineroar is going to go for the Snarl. Going to get a little bit of chip damage on Indeedee and a little bit on Hatterene, but Hatterene is now free to get the Trick Room off if it still has that priority. And it looks like it will. So a pretty safe Trick Room turn here for the Pokebros. Really, really interesting. Trying to get as much of the damage off with Snarl as you can and the Smart Strike, but really wasn't enough here for Santakos.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Snarl is a really nice play here from the Incineroar, though. It's able to kind of slow play this. Hatterene really relies on its special attack as well as Indeedee. So if you can force your opponent to waste their turns in Trick Room, just doing almost no damage, then you get a lot out of it.
Yep, and we see the switch for Indeedee into Stakataka. Kartana is also going to switch for Santakos, and out comes Greedent, a mon that does a lot better in a Trick Room than Kartana does. Hatterene is going to fire back off with a Mystical Flare into that Greedent spot, but it is not going to take it down. Would have taken out that Kartana, but Incineroar is going to get that the Snarl off and drop another special attack buff on Hatterene and a fresh special attack buff on Stakataka here. Santakos here trying to take advantage of this Trick Room. You think that they can pull it out with Greedent here?
Yeah, so Greedent's not a particularly fast Pokemon. It does like to operate under Trick Room, and at this point, the biggest barrier to it is going to be that Stack Attacker right there. It carries moves like Body Press, super effective from a super high base defense from NinoPokebros, and we will see it come out immediately into this Greedent.
Right off the bat, calling it right into that Greedent. Going to take it down to below half health. Expanding Force does not affect Incineroar, but it is going to go into that Greedent. Will it be enough to take it out in this Trick Room? It looks like it still is, despite the two Snarl buffs. Greedent not getting the chance to shine, and Incineroar going off with another Snarl. Hatterene avoiding it and landing on a Stakataka here, but honestly, it's not that big of a deal on Stakataka.
Yeah, Stakataka not carrying that much. It does kind of show the disparity between Stakataka's physical defense and special defense. The fact that two Snarls from this Incineroar is already chunked down 25% on it. It's kind of crazy to me, but at the same time, that was really big, living the Hatterene avoiding, so it's not -3 anymore, as well as getting the KO with that expanding force. It's shown that it has a fire type attack in Mystical Fire, so that can easily take out this Kartana. So, you know, it is going to be pretty difficult here going forward with it. But, you know, there is a couple of different plays that Santakos can go for here. Opting here, it looks like, to go for that parting shot.
And that's exactly what we see. Torkoal going to switch in for Hatterene, not liking those special attack drops. We're going to bring in that Sun, but also still really able to take advantage of this Trick Room. Kartana is going to go for the Protect. Going to try to wait out the rest of these turns. And Stakataka hitting Incineroar with a Stone Edge, leaving it with about 10 health left. Citrus Berry acting for activating for that Incineroar, going to give it a little bit of health back. And the parting shot again going into the Stakataka, which will put some buffs on it that may make a bit of a difference here in the end.
Yeah, for sure. At this point, though, you really have to be careful because Trick Room is still up. You have two Pokemon that will move first no matter what, and threaten a lot of damage into both your Pokemon. The Intimidator, the parting shot there was nice, but it doesn't matter for Body Press because that's all based off of your base defense and your defensive buffs. So that's the one challenge from it. But yeah, it all comes down, I think, here to the plan that Adam has to wait out the end of Trick Room.
Yeah, that's going to be the best bet here as Torkoal goes for the Eruption, going to hit both sides here and take that Katana down to the Focus Sash. And not too effective on Nihilego, but does do about 25% damage, even though it's not effective. Stone Edge going to go off into that Kartana, taking it completely out of commission. And we see Nihilego, Stakataka, of course, grabbing that Beast Boost off of there, making that defense even worse, making those body presses even more strong. Meteor Beam firing off of Nihilego into, just going to charge up this term, I believe, and it looks like it does
here comes
have
the
a
Power
Water
Herb.
Yep,
yeah.
And there's the Power Herb. the meteor beam going to fire right off, and you imagine it's going to go into the Torkoal slot, and it does. It takes Torkoal all the way out of commission here, and I don't think that there's many turns of Trick Room left at this point.
Yeah, Torkoal not really known for its special defense, much more of a physically defensive Pokemon.
Right.
Trick Room will expire here, but notably, the Indeedee is still in the back there, I believe. That has not been taken out yet, so could be something like a Follow Me Trick Room. It was also really interesting to see that the Stakataka is in fact the defensive boosting variant. So it's not boosting its attack, so it is likely just a full defense build. The presence of Body Press kind of tips that off rather than something like a Gyro Ball. You can get your Stakataka to boost its attack as opposed to defense, but it's not particularly easy. Here I really like NinoPokebros also expertly navigating the number of turns of terrain. So this Psychic Terrain's back up. You can't go for Fake Out. You just got to try and take these out.
Right, really trying to force Santaco's hand here. Of course, the Pokemon gap here getting very grim for most, but without that Fake Out, you've got a lot of opportunity that you can do here with this Follow Me. Follow Me going to come off of Indeedee. Nihilego is going to go for the Power Gem, and it's going to, of course, hit that Indeedee slot with the Follow Me. Follow Me, of course, not doing anything anymore and preventing Incineroar out there, but Incineroar is going to have a tough time against this Stakataka. Flare Blitz coming off of Incineroar in the sun. Does it have enough to put it down? It does put it down barely 50%. Recoil damage is going to be tucked up there. And the Trick Room coming off of Stakataka going to turn the speed tiers back in the Pokebros' favor.
Yeah, they're basically Santaco's is only out. It was going to be a crit into that. Or something like potentially a taunt if you have that on your Incineroar. I know that's been kind of rising back up in usage as we've seen Trick Room start to rise back up in usage. But yeah, it's going to be really tough going from here. The Stakataka is -2 in terms of its attack, but its defense is +1. Body Press kind of just takes out everything at this point. Nihilego similarly not great in terms of the physical defense, just on the special defense. So likely just going to go down to a Gyro Ball here.
And that's exactly what happens here. Gyro Ball going off into the Nihilego, taking it completely out of commission. Stakataka getting yet another Beast Boost. And we can't imagine Dazzling Gleam coming off of this Hatterene will put this Incineroar out. And that will give the first win here to the Pokebros.
Yeah, for sure. Really fun to see Indeedee Hatterene coming back for the first time in what feels like forever. Since Gigantamax Hatterene was good, it feels like probably the last time we saw a bunch of those Hatterenes running around. But yeah, the power of Follow Me plus as well as having the Psychic Surge from that Indeedee makes it really tough to not have these two Pokemon get a chance to set up Trick Room on turn number 1. So if you're Adam Santaco's, you really have to think about, what do I want to do better on that first turn, because so we got some chip, we got some snarls down onto those Pokemon. I think the snarls are good and could be really useful earlier, but I think being able to get that Greedent in sooner and be able to start to make a little bit more of make more of noise rather than just going down to the double up from Body Press and Dazzling Gleam or Expanding Force, I believe it was. I feel like that's really what has to get going if Santaco's wants to be able to deal with the Trick Room version of this. But if you're NinoPokebros, maybe you think, hey, I won game 1 on Trick Room. Adam's probably going to think, how do I counter Trick Room? What if I just go fast on him?
Exactly. That's the mind game that I think that the Pokebros have with this team here. This team really works in 2 gears, and the cool thing about having this after you effect is that you can still take these mons that are typically good in Trick Room and still make them viable, even as speedy as you want to. So a lot of flexibility on the Pokebros team here, and it's got to put a lot of turn 0 work in with Santaco's.
Yeah, for sure. It's very much back to like this old school pivoting VGC. It's so important how you position yourself in these turns of Trick Room. How do you get the most utility out of having only fast mons into a Trick Room matchup? How do you be as disruptive as possible? And I almost think that maybe Clefairy would have been a nice bring, just to be able to potentially give yourself some extra bulk. That Friend Guard ability is something that helps you take a little bit less damage every time. And so it is kind of just like a really nice natural buffer in terms of how much damage you're taking.
Yeah. But we'll see how this all ends up working out for here as we move into game 2. It looks like the first Mon's out for both competitors here as we go into the match. We've got Lilligant and Torkoal coming out for the Pokebros, so opting for that fast mode. And Nihilego Kartana going on for Santakos. Very interesting leads here, as we said. There's 2 modes that this team can go, and Pokebros here choosing to go with that After You variant.
Yeah, the After You variant, it's really, you can do everything with this Lilligant Torkoal lead because you have so much of the advantage from a mind game. Okay, they know that I can go After You Eruption right off the bat, so likely going to protect that Kartana or switch it out. So maybe if I just go for the Sleep Powder into the Nihilego, I can protect my Torkoal for next turn when the protects run out. Maybe it forces a switch, something along those lines. So it really just leads to a lot of turn 1 mind games here, and you have to try and make the call and get it as right as possible off the bat here.
Yeah, it is a tough call here if you are Santakos. Lilligant's actually going to go for the Sleep Powder, though, into Nihilego and put that right to sleep turn 1. Not even going for the After You Kartana. Going in with the Sacred Sword on Torkoal. Leaves it at about 25% of its health down, but still a healthy 75% on it for this Eruption to come in. Of course, that's going to take Kartana down to a Focus Sash. It definitely does not like those Fire-type moves. And Nihilego able to take that one very easily on the chin here.
Yeah, for sure. Nihilego's special defense is going to continue to help it out in this matchup. But yeah, the Sleep Powder turn 1 hit, like we mentioned before, like that mind game, are they going to go for Sleep Powder? Are they not? Are they going to hit the Sleep Powder? We're all the way back to Venu Cole, no skill, and have to be afraid of that turn 1. What is it going to go for? Is it going to go for the After You Eruption? Is it going to go for the Sleep Powder? Is it just going to go for a double into that Kartana maybe? Just knowing that it is Focus Sash, so maybe it feels extra safe to attack this turn. Yeah, so it is really just so many mind games here in turn number 1. It also really comes down to what's the final move from this Lilligant.
Yeah, for sure. Kartana's going to protect this turn, making sure it keeps that 1 HP still on it. Leaf Storm coming off of the Kartana. Of course, that is protected. Nihilego wakes up on turn 1 using that Sludge Wave. Of course, it's not going to affect Kartana, but it's going to hit both Mons on the other side. And it takes Torkoal all the way down to what seems to be a Sash. It is Sashed, and a pretty critical hit on Torkoal as it go for the poison as well. Earth Power firing off of Torkoal into the Nihilego. It will take it down to about 33 of its health left, but Torkoal is now poisoned, and so it's going to slowly tick away each turn at that health. Really, actually a very good turn here for Santakos.
Yeah, it really is a great turn there for Santakos. I think the one challenge really, though, comes down to if you wanted one Pokemon to get poisoned, you want it to be at Lilligant. You know it's a Focus Sash. If you can potentially take it down to Sash, then get the poison on the Lilligant, then you're in really good shape. But here it's going to kind of facilitate some maneuvering around the rest of this turn.
Very interesting here, and we see the Kartana being switched in for the Clefairy After You firing off from Lilligant, going to allow a Heat Wave to go off right off the bat, but Nihilego is able to hang in there and fires back with a Power Gem into the Lilligant slot, making sure there is no more Lilligant shenanigans in there, while getting a critical Beast Boost in this moment here. Now we see Torkoal, and it will go down to the poison, so the advantage now greatly swinging in Santako's favor.
Yeah, that was a huge turn there for Santakos, being able to live with the friend guard there on the Heat Wave. You know, you play a double game with potentially a Heat Wave miss, but really there, absolutely insane and incredible stuff. Stack Attack is not really the mon you want to see here, but you do have a +2 special attack on this Nihilego from your KO, as well as your Meteor Beam boost. So potentially you can get some damage down onto this Pokemon. It's just going to really be how much damage can a Power Gem do at +2.
What a call there to switch in Clefairy. I mean, you normally see Clefairy on the lead end of things and using that follow me defense and everything that it can there, but really switching this in at a critical moment and keeping that Kartana alive, incredible.
Yeah, awesome stuff there. And, you know, now it really does come down to kind of the challenge of this right now. You see Adam contemplating clicking this button. I hope he knows what he did. He almost locked into there with the Meteor Beam. This is going to be a 2-turn Meteor Beam because we've already seen the Power Herb. Or no, we haven't seen the Power Beam.
No, not
Power
for
Herb
this
yet.
match. That's going
That's
for a
right.
helping hand. Indeedee is going to go for the Follow Me, and that allows for Nihilego to hit this Meteor Beam. It's going to charge up, of course, and we're about to find out right here if that herb's already gone off. I believe it hasn't, but the special attack dropping, there is the item. So the Power Herb, a full helping hand Meteor Beam into this Indeedee slot. Will it be enough to take it out? And it is enough to take it out. Indeedee going down here. Santakos has got incredible momentum as this Nihilego picks up yet another Beast Boost, and Stakataka finishes off with a Trick Room. But now Stakataka having the speed advantage here. Can it win this 3v1 situation?
Yeah, it's really going to come down to the move set from the Stakataka, I think. We've already seen one thing in the fact that it is actually Stone Edge, and so it's not Rock Slide here, so potentially that will reveal a good amount of information. It can't go for any spread. I'm a little surprised to see here from Santacos not going for the follow me with this Clefairy, wanting to protect it and wanting to preserve Clefairy for the end game here, which I do respect. I think I would have been really curious to see how much a +3 power gem would have done into that Stakataka. That could have been a really fun stuff right there, but we will see. He wants to finish it off here with the Greedent, or potentially that Kartana after Trick Room is expired.
Yeah, and then with the unless that Stakataka has Rock Slide, which it very possibly could, you know, that is in a position where, you know, Kartana might actually be able to use. You could use Clefairy's Follow Me, and you could start to use some of the of Kartana's abilities there. But Clefairy's going to go for the Follow Me now. Gyro Ball going to go into the Clefairy. Steel types against a Fairy type, not a fun mix, but it still survives with 12 HP. Greedent's going to stuff its cheeks, and it does as it boost its defense sharply. Clefairy, very interesting turn here as these Trick Room turns start to tick away.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of my favorite moves right here that Santacos loves using is Stuffed Cheeks on this Greedent. So the move Stuffed Cheeks, if you have a berry, it'll consume it and it'll boost your defense. From there, what will happen, you'll get the impact of whatever the berry was, which for him is the Ganlon berry. So it is going to go ahead and boost his defense by another stage. This is, I believe, a +3 defense body press. The Chople berry there taking out half the damage the Stakataka would have otherwise taken. You see, it would have been enough damage for a one-hit KO.
Yep, and now you're just in a follow me situation. Clefairy goes for the follow me, and we see a Gyro Ball again off of Stakataka going to take that Clefairy out. And all it is now is a body press from Greedent to tap it in for Santacos here and bring this to a game 3. Of course, the defense rising with the Beast Boost there for Stakataka. And there comes the body press, and it is enough to take it out. Santacos here will take the match number 2, and that brings us, Gems, to a game 3.
Game 3, one of my favorite things there. So ATX VGC, we used to have those game 3 modes, which is one of my favorite things. It's the dotrio holding up the game 3 sign. So we've got ourselves, as Nibs likes to say in the chat right now, free Pokemon. So you love to see it.
Chat for game 3, that'll work for us.
Yeah, there we go.
But yeah, hype is building here. What I think the biggest turn there was the Clefairy coming in at that moment. I think that if you don't have Nihilego to kind of snowball the rest of that team there, it becomes a very, very challenging match for Santacos.
Yeah, honestly, the Indeedee would have been likely a little bit too much to deal with. So being able to take that out, I was misremembering that. I forgot that I went for the Sludge Wave earlier rather than the Meteor Beam, so it still went for it. And I was like, oh no, he's clicking Helping Hand Meteor Beam. It's going to take 2 turns. I was like, wait, never mind. It's not. It's fine. It's fine. So yeah, that was awesome seeing that hit. And, you know, he had some bad luck against me earlier, missing a Meteor Beam that probably would have won him a match, but glad to see that luck return for this set right here. But yeah, going into game 3, you saw the switch up of the modes. So it really is kind of comes down to how Adam Santacos wants to play this out. If you're NinoPokebros though, you've kind of got your pick. Do you want to go back to the Trick Room? Do you want to stay with the fast mode? It's so matchup dependent that you gotta just get in the head.
It's hard to say. It's hard not to say that like it didn't work those first couple of turns with the Lilligant Torkoal. It was working pretty well, but I mean, just Nihilego was able to play around that really strongly. But I guess we're gonna see the Trick Room lead here with Hatterene Indeedee and Nihilego Kartana again the lead for Santacos here.
Yeah, this Nihilego Kartana, the same lead from last game. Definitely puts on some offensive pressure, but unfortunately, I don't know that Santacos has a move that can one-hit KO that Indeedee, especially with that Psychic Seed right off the bat. Last game we saw it was, I believe this, it had the boost, but the Nihilego was also +1 from the Sludge Wave KO onto the Torkoal previously, or the Power Herb onto the Lilligant, so that kind of counterbalanced that. So it really is going to kind of come down to it. How much did that helping hand matter last game, and how much can you potentially do on this turn?
Yeah, exactly. And Didi is going to go for the follow me here. So again, setting up this Trick Room Smart Strike coming off of Kartana into that Ndidi slot. Going to see if it can do as much damage as it possibly can. Nihilego going for the Sludge Wave does not affect Kartana as a steel type. And allowing for Hatterene just to get down to about 25% of its health. But 25% of its health is enough to get that Trick Room off.
Yeah, it is really interesting play now because you know that Kartana from the previous 2 games has that focus sash, so you have to double into it if you want to potentially take a KO. So it really comes down to who are you going to try and take out? Is it going to be the Kartana or the Nihilego? You really can't get 2 KOs on this turn as you would perhaps like. I don't know that Expanding Force plus Mystical Fire is going to be quite enough, especially considering everything, the special defense of Nihilego. This is a full-powered Hatterene and Ndidi. They haven't taken any Snarl, so perhaps that calculation is in the cards here for Santaka. So really going to kind of depend on how this turn plays out. I'm curious.
Yeah, it should be a very interesting one here as Hatterene is going to get the Expanding Force off into both slots. Of course, it's going to go ahead and take Nihilego all the way out. Flashbacks to the days when we had Hatterene using Expanding Force. You forget that it hits as hard as it does, but it hits hard. Ndidi's going to finish up with an Expanding Force, and the classic Psy Spam combo is in full effect as the Pokebros clear Adam Santako's side of the field.
Yeah, I like the play a lot from NinoPokebros, deciding not to take the gambit of having to like go for a fire type attack, just knowing, well, 2 should be enough to take this out. And it turns out that 1 is enough to take out the Nihilego and 1's enough to take Kartana down to Sash. Shows you just how poor and paper thin those special defense are for Kartana. So now Adam does have the Clefairy and the Greedent in here. Perhaps this is the setup that he wants. It's going to be a little bit tough because it doesn't love special attacks. It is much more physically bulky. So we'll kind of have to see what this Greedent goes for.
And we shall see. Expanding Force going to hit off into both slots here. Going to get the Clefairy down to about 25% of its health. The stockpile goes off for Greedent, stockpiling it to 1, raising that defense and special defense. Moonblast going to fire off of Clefairy into the Hatterene slot. Should be enough to take it out, and it does. And we are left with just Ndidi here as it fires off another Expanding Force. It may just be enough to clean up both sides here. It does take out Clefairy, but Greedent still hangs in there.
You know, if you got a Greedent and a Prayer here, it is now +2 defense after eating the Gonlon Berry. It is also +1 special defense. The Cheek Pouch is going to get a significant amount of that HP back. It's at about 50%. So you are going to take attacks from the opposing Stack Attacka much more healthily than you otherwise would, but this Torkoal is going to be doing a ton of damage with a full power eruption.
Yep,
yeah,
that's going to be very, very hard to get around. But I feel like Adam Santako's, he's got to go out one way. It's a Greedent and a Prayer, and so we'll see how this ends up working out. The Psy Spam leads, man, it gives you flashbacks. Eruption going to fire off into Torkoal, and it will be enough to take out Greedent, and that will wrap it up for this match. Game 3, a clean win for the Pokebros here. That Trick Room side of that team just absolutely dominating. What do you think of those matches, Gems?
Yeah, it was great to see like NinoPokebros identifying Trick Room is really my way through this, and then kind of executing that in the 2 wins. I think it was also really interesting to see the way that Adam maneuvered everything around, trying to deal with such a tough matchup into that Lilycole lead. I really liked the way that he kind of scrapped and found his way around it. Just unfortunate that Greedent doesn't have slightly better special defenses. It could potentially be even more of a monster. But you know, maybe that's one of the reasons why it's underrated and why it continues to be the favorite of Adam Santako's. Always going to be a bit of an underdog, but when it works, it works, and it's really fun.
Well, the MVP of Santako's team there was absolutely the Nihilego. So I think that was one that deserves to mention. But I think that we've got both the Pokebros and Santako's here for an interview. We're going to hop on over there real quick and be right back. Hold on, let me see if I can just pop on. Hello. We're back. Up Smasher here. All right, Pokebros, you here? Nino?
Ahoy, hoy!
All right.
Hey there!
How is everybody?
Doing good. That Greenan was scaring me for my life. He had to come, didn't he?
Yes, he did. How'd you feel? I mean, like I felt like if you had to go out one way, Santacos, with Greedon and a prayer, it was the best way to do it. Am I right?
Yeah, it was unfortunate that the expanding force was way too forceful for Greedon to handle. But
Yeah.
Joel, I spent all week preparing for Sheninja, man. I had dark coverage.
Oh.
The stream
You know
literally
my
crashed.
sheninja don't like your Greenan.
The stream
You
literally
know
crashed
that.
because there was no sheninja.
Yeah, that was one thing. The stream crashed initially at the beginning. We were able to get it back up in mid game.
Yeah, major shout outs to Up Smash on getting that back up and going real quick
right.
so people didn't miss too much.
I think we still got it back within like the first turn, which was crazy.
Yeah.
So Pokebros, you're winning another one again. What do you think? How does it feel? How does it feel to coming off this win?
It was good, man. Santacos really gave me a run for my money on his changing for game 2. You know, I felt like I maybe should change it up. Thought he was trying to get that sludge wave to one-hit KO my Hatterene, but just wasn't enough. My girl hung on, got those forces down, pulled through for me. But yeah, how about that Nihilego living on that heat wave? I really needed it to go. I really needed it to go down that
I
turn.
need to settle the argument. I think that Clefairy was the MVP there.
Yeah.
No kidding. Friend guard was very friendly there.
I love Friend Guard. Yeah.
Came into
we made a big mention
sure.
of that. Clefairy was the underrated MVP of that match because that Clefairy switch in I think was absolutely the turning point of that match.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That was I needed that confirmed KO. Once that lived in, I was like, oh no, Greenan's coming in, Clefairy's coming in, stuff them cheeks. I know his body
What I really
press
needed was
way
a helping
better than
hand.
mine. Yeah.
Yeah, what I needed there in game 3 was that helping hand sludge wave, but I was like, oh man, I'm gonna knock out my own Clefairy with that. But I think that's what I needed there on lead in game 1 to get them both.
Ooh, now we're talking about a game 4 already. All right, we'll
Game 4.
Yeah, the rare three KOs that is normally reserved for something like an explosion, right?
Right.
Yeah, do you get Beast Boost on all of those KOs?
Yes, you do. Mind blown is nutty.
Yeah, that is some crazy stuff right there. So that was really awesome getting to see that. So I'm gonna direct a question over towards NinoPokebros. What was your kind of thought on like when to try and switch between your fast mode and your slow mode? Was it really just okay? I'm assuming Adam's gonna adjust to try and beat Trick Room, so I can go Lily Cole right off the bat here, or is that like a typical setup for this team?
No, yeah, because usually sometimes it starts off with the Lilligant and Torkoal, but I could tell kind of if I got Trick Room off, I'd be in good position. I knew Greedent was a slow mon, so I knew getting Trick Room up would benefit Greedent. So it's cool that it came all 3 games before because it was ready for Trick Room too. But yeah, I knew he would try his best to adjust to kind of maybe, and he did. He was trying to get Hatterene KO'd and just get it out of the way. So bringing in my Focus Sash Lilligant to try and luckily I got the sleep off, but just those eruptions really don't do too much damage on the Nihilego, and it was a good lead even for the Lilligant Cole. So. And like just to answer your question, Gems, I was trying to switch it up, go for a more speed base. But now that I think about it in hindsight, instead of bringing more Trick Room mons, maybe I should have brought Landorus in the back. That might have been a different kind of end game. Yeah, because it just once I was no Trick Room with just Indeedee and Stack Attack, it's just like he was winning the speed, he was setting up. So. Yeah, and then I had to go back to my game 1, which I'm surprised. I know Adam was thinking, it's like, yeah, he's going to try his game 1 game plan probably again. But I'm fine. I'm going to still try and KO with Hatterene. And that was kind of the call there, just to see if he could KO Hatterene and get ahead on turn 1 there. So I can see why he still stayed the same lead for game 3. And it's like he's still trying to KO Hatterene whether he came or not.
Yeah, no, awesome stuff.
Yeah. We talked about some of our highlights earlier, but actually, Adam, I want to ask you this: what was the most pivotal parts of this match for you?
Well, if the if I don't get a turn 1 awake on game 2, that set would have been a really fast set, right?
Yeah.
Like we got really
Ah.
fortunate with that turn 1 wake, and then we
Yeah.
were able to get the KOs. Because without that, I think it would have gone downhill very quickly.
Yeah, no, that's another underrated
That's a
part
good
of
point.
the whole match. I forgot about
Yeah,
that whole aspect
that's
of it because
right.
there's so much that happened afterwards. But that turn 1 wake was really, really rare, and coming around, Nihilega was able to really. That was the main sweep of the match.
Yeah, it was getting those boosts all day. It was one hit KOing anything on the field until it went down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really banking in game 3 that Sludge Wave could pick up there. I think I probably needed a crit, honestly, or a helping hand to get it. But then I felt like, man, that's like risking it all to helping hand
Yeah.
the Sludge Wave on yourself. But I'm glad I had that because the Sludge Wave is good for like double target, so you can avoid the follow me's. But it needed just a little bit more to pick it up, and I believe mine was like max special attack all the way. So I think that
there's
was
no more. There's no more you could have got.
there's no
that
more
was
left
it.
in the tank. It's
Oh, man.
it waved that sludge as much as it could.
I had faith. As soon as I select my moves, I'm like, it's not gonna KO. It's not gonna KO. And hell, it was close. It was close. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible stuff there. So yeah, Adam, kind of one of the things when you were approaching this match, Greedent's one of your favorite Pokemon. How much were you thinking in terms of Spikmuth Cup, wanting to use a team that feels comfortable and similar to stuff you've used in previous formats, and how much of it is, I really think Greedent is completely slept on. I know your answer might be both, but I'm kind of curious your thought process and team building here.
Yeah, I think the team is a lot better without Greedent, and you put Double there or Stakataka would probably be even the better choice because you can set your own Trick Room, you can get your own body presses with the same on. Greedent just needs a few more moves before I think it's really, really good. You know, if it had a helping hand at least. But no, the team I'm really comfortable with is what I ran with in Series 10 was a body press Greedent set. So I think it's still, you know, pretty good. I think there's definitely better body press Pokemon like Bronzor and stuff, or Bronzong is a better body press because it can set its own Trick Room. So, but Greedent's, yeah, of course, it's a fun favorite pick. I really like it. It's a few tools away from being really, really good. Unfortunately, to get your own like +3 defense, you have to use in the item. You have to use that berry defense, whereas you have other Pokemon that can, you know, hold the leftovers and do body press stuff. So, you know, it has a few things going against it, but it's still pretty great. The last set there, Joel, was a substitute, and I almost at the very end took off substitute and put crunch on there for the sheninja. Like I was just like hovering over it this evening. I was like, man, I should really add one more sheninja coverage move. If I put a dark move on the green, that would help me out. So I was preparing for it. I was thinking about it.
You guys are already giving away my mon for next week. I guess I can't bring it because everyone's expecting it.
Yeah, everyone's gonna bring six dark coverage moves against you from now on.
Oh,
Yeah, that's that turn -1.
Like that. Do what?
I was gonna say that's that turn -1 team building. Like, you know, Joel's already in everyone's head that you have to be prepared for Sheninja. It's not just a team preview.
I brought
it's
Snarl
before
Incineroar
team
just for that as well. I mean,
Snarl.
Yeah, I was
so
I was
good in
looking
game
at the
one.
team.
I like that.
I was looking at the team and like, okay, who's gonna win, the cool hat or the snarling cat?
Yeah, well, especially it gave something Incineroar something to do after that Psychic Train was set up in those circumstances. So absolutely amazing plays on both sides, guys. Always love a best of 3 set. Nihilego absolutely just coming away with a turn 1 wake and an absolute sweep there in that game 2. Absolutely incredible matches. And then of course the Psy spam lead. Whew, man. I forgot Hatterene could hit that hard, right? We've been
me
away
too.
from Hatterene for a while. We forgot that Psy spam was a real problem, and it's back. It is back. But
we got a twisted spoon, I guess, was Battle Room was running on it, but I could only find the other Incent that boosts a psychic move, so that's how we're getting that extra pull there.
Okay. There you go. A little bit of secrets revealed. Chef,
yeah, I was curious if you were Pixie Plate or Babiri Berry or something on there, but yeah, that extra psychic damage makes a lot more sense now.
Odd Incense is the psychic boosting one, so that's what we put on there.
Well, there you go. There you go. Well, amazing matches tonight. Nino, you looking forward to defending your championship now for a third time? This is a charity match, so it's not necessarily right in the line, but you got another match next month. Are you looking forward to defending your title?
Yeah, I wonder who wants a piece of this action. I might have to go against one of the commentators, call out Gems or Bruce. Come on now.
Let's do it. That'd be a lot
It's
of
been
fun.
a minute since we played.
Yeah.
I know. I don't want you to kick my butt again and take my throne. Come on.
You got to get redemption for that last one.
That's right. Oh.
There you go. Angsted for it. Well, we shall see. We'll put some feelers out there on Twitter, and of course, again, if you guys are interested in taking on the Poke Bros, be sure to reach out to me. Be sure to reach out to WD Michael. We'll be happy to arrange that. But again, thanks so much, guys. It's great having you. And Poke Bros,
thank you
see
so much.
next month.
Thank you
Yeah.
everyone
Guys.
for watching.
Oh, actually, Adam, before you leave, do you want to do a quick shout out for the organization
yeah,
we're
of
raising
course.
some money for?
Yeah.
Just to thank you guys all so much for supporting NERF Cancer. It's a charity arm of the Cure Starts Now, supporting DIPG brain cancer awareness and research and funding. I like to tell everybody that, well, I don't like to say this, but the truth is that only 4% of all cancer funding goes towards childhood cancers. So it's kind of a thing that the parents and the people affected by childhood cancer do what they can to help raise money and funds and awareness for research and for cures, because so little of it goes towards childhood cancer. So thanks. This month, September, is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and so I think I appreciate all of you guys for all the tweets, all the donations, all the reshares, for raising awareness and sharing that link, and letting everybody know that September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, something that I didn't know myself only a few years ago. So I think it's great that you guys thank you all for supporting it, and I appreciate everybody for just taking the time to read and put it on their minds and on their hearts.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for sharing that as well. And yeah, with that, I think we will now transition into the top 10 plays of the month, sponsored by Dark Aura. We'll pop over to the what we can just do it from here. Yeah, so with that being said, let's transition over to our top 10 plays of the month, as I said before, brought to you by Dark Aura VGC, or Dark Aura, just Dark Aura. But yeah, let's Gems, you got us up for number 10?
Yeah, for sure. Let's go ahead and get started with number 10 here. So we're going to be starting off with a Unite play. We've got the Squirtle's Den founder of Team Drip is about to absolutely annihilate with this Dragonite here, going for the 3-man beam. The jungler here gets its main Hyper Beam charge and gets a clean KO with the Hyper Beam. 3 birds with 1 stone. Absolutely insane. Just a ton of damage right there.
Wow.
And the immediate surrender. Oh my
Immediately
gosh.
surrenders when you get that triple. They're like, no, we're not dealing with this Dragonite anymore. Everything looks so just cut and dry right up here. You get clean Dreadnought pickup. Remember Dreadnought, guys? And then boom, 3 in a row.
Yeah, absolutely insane how much damage that Hyper Beam's doing right there.
Absolutely nuts. Well, congrats to Swirtle's Den for coming in at number 10 there. Number 9 on our countdown. Smash Statist, that's probably not Sadist, Statist, part of the Dark Aura community, playing in a duo queue on his stream, effectively 5v1ing this entire team on Zapdos. As you can see, he's already picked up 2 KOs here. This Blastoise, just a sliver of health. It's running away. It's trying to see what it can do. It can't get away, and all of it is now up to this Aegislash coming in here. Slowbro is going to come in for a little bit of added effect, but the Machamp just stays on it and is able to just take out this entire team right on Zapdos. Who needs a team fight when you can just 1v5 the entire rest of the team? Am I right?
Absolutely insane. That Machamp putting in so much work. I love seeing it just, just big guy with muscles punching things, and it's just, it's getting all the success right here. So awesome to see the Machamp
for the win, right? I mean, that's what,
indeed
what we needed. And the wide guard here, as if that's going to stop this chaos that's happening here. Slowbro just coming in, like, oh, I'm helping. No, we don't need you. We got this. We got the whole thing down. Buzz will just focus in on Zapdos. Look, that's some good team synergy right there, okay?
Indeed. Like, hey, you know what? I'll 5v1. Y'all focus on Zapdos. Maybe get a little bit of help from Slowbro occasionally, but, hey, we're duo queuing here. We don't have to rely on everyone, right?
Exactly. Well, we got a number 8.
Yeah, number 8. This one is incredibly interesting. So the one Geo was talking about this. So this is something called the law of preservation of priority. So as you see, the Tailwind just went from the opposing team, and their Zacian uses Behemoth Blade, right? So really important to remember all the moves that are used right here, because we're about to see the tech that is coming from the Encore Whimsicott. So when you self Encore, you actually move at a higher speed priority. So if you go for quick attack with your Zacian and your Encore, then you are actually going to move before the opposing Zacian, which is potentially here much faster. So as you see, that one Geo goes ahead and preserves this right here. I believe this was a post from Worlds tweeting out about this, or at least recreated after the fact. It's something that's been the case in past VGC formats, and it's really, really cool to see kind of invalidating that opposing Tailwind and just using your quick attack to your advantage.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane here, right? There's everything on the field should say that the Tailwind priority would go to Zacian here, but locking in that quick attack priority and then going in encoring yourself into Behemoth Blade, that is some of the biggest brain VG. Cool. There we go. So yeah, evidently, as Sad was saying in chat, the brain was too big for the stream, but we were able to encore this back on. Thank you, James, for the line.
Yeah, for sure. Let's move it on to number 7. What do you say, Dodd?
Yes, number 7. As Scolded is a very high-level North American player. His team was dead and said, "You know what? Don't worry. I'll just go kill everything for you. Now I got this. Quad kills, scores 100 points. It does what it needs to here. Absolutely wrapping it up for the team here. Overscoring right here. Look at this situation. I mean, boom, 1 ult, and the entire team goes down. Cinderace running for its life and just absolutely putting in this win for what it needs. It looks like scoreboard wise they already had a pretty fair lead here, but you know, when you could take a 5v1 situation, you're always going to end up on our top 10 plays of the month.
Indeed, yeah. 5v1's like also the level disparity there. That Absol was grinding level 15 where everything else is in the 12 through 14s. Really important, you know, the work you're putting in earlier in the game to make sure that you're set up for this end game scenario and you can take all these things out.
Yeah, very good playing there by Scolded. Moving on to number 6, what we got?
Yeah, Chris Heroes here is playing on the test server. This is actually before dotrio was on the new and the new map were actually out. He's gonna go ahead and use this dotrio ult, which is just gonna take just takes dotrio to this designated location, absolutely tearing across the map, lands just behind those 4 enemies and gets to drill peck each of them, just kind of pick them off one by one. And here, instead of, we're no longer at Zapdos, we're at Rayquaza now, going ahead and pushing out all of these opponents from the team battle. Absolutely insane stuff. And this is, I see why this is included. It's part of the dotrio propaganda here.
Yes, that I'm pushing as hard as I can. But yeah, no, it was an absolutely crazy play here. I feel like dotrio just does not hit this hard now in a real server, but like the new ult for dotrio is one that I think has so much viability. It has such range, and like he's actually doing a pretty close dotrio run. You can pretty much hit that jump pad and then ult to get yourself to Rayquaza right pretty much going off that jump pad, because that sprint not only goes it goes around barriers. So like if you put yourself on Rayquaza, he'll run like literally around the barrier to get to Rayquaza. And I think it's got so much viability. If you can stack mons up like that and line them all up in a perfect little line, dotrio wins every time.
Yeah, no, and absolutely insane stuff. You love to see it, and especially like in the early testing like this, getting an opportunity to see something, see how powerful it is before it's even released in the broader game. So really cool stuff getting to see this from the test server before the official release.
Right, 100%. Moving right on to number 5, at Get Yosh is a jungler for one of Dark Aura's teams in the Dark Aura Unite practice. This team is contesting Dreadnought and gets a pentakill and a Dreadnought kill all in one here. So Greninja absolutely wrecking it here. We see getting good positioning right here on this Slowbro, which way outweighs it in the HP game, but is able to pick up a 4 KO streak, come in for the Dreadnought steal here right in front of that Dragonite. Not even a care in the world. It doesn't even need the score shield. It's just gonna go, it's gonna get everything for the rest of the team and walk right on out of there. Amazing plays there by Get Yosh.
I love to see a aggressive Greninja play here. The ult is so cool with that gigantic water shuriken, and just getting to see just how much damage it can do and how much how much ground it can take up, and just picking these off one by one. Incredibly impressive play there.
Absolutely incredibly impressive. And the Dragonite right there on Dreadnought with just like a quarter health left. It's such a deadly situation to be in. Be able to confidently go out of there with that Greninja. You love to see it happen. Love to see it for the range characters in Unite, always.
Indeed, indeed.
Moving on to number 4.
Yeah, number 4 here, we've got I'm gonna butcher this, I apologize. Mahanlui Kui is the founder of Team Haunter. He's typically a Lucario Machamp main. Going through his mage training arc, though, gonna go ahead and be playing this Decidueye flawlessly. Gonna get a quad kill, just sniping these things off right here. Just absolutely, that range is nuts. I cannot believe I couldn't even see those Pokemon off screen, and they were going down.
Those Pokemon have failed that city. That's what happened right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Murking them.
Yeah, Oliver McQueen could be so lucky. But yeah, awesome there. That the one at the end too, if you watch, just one arrow takes 2 KOs, just going, straight up from a comic book, absolutely going through another Pokemon to knock the other one out.
Up like billiard balls here, and the ult here really making so much use of it. This last shot right here is so satisfying to see it just go through. Wow, what an incredible play. This kind of stuff is what makes Decidueye look way easier to use than it is. But this takes a lot of skill to be able to hit moves like this. Indeed.
With that, let's go ahead and move it on to number 3. What do we got for number 3, Dodd?
Yeah, number 3, Nintendly, probably one of the best Garchomps in the world. His team tries to forfeit on Zapdos, but he's just not having it. Proceeds to wipe out the team 5v1, which is insane Garchomp mechanics. Fixate on the HP of the remaining Chomp and how it doesn't get KO'd. Just look at how this comes through here in the end. Boom, just picking up oh my goodness, and just being able to murk the entire team with that little bit of HP left. Very impressive Garchomp plays. I mean, Garchomp, we haven't seen Garchomp really dominate the meta like this since like some of the first days of Unite.
My only qualm with this clip right here is that a Garchomp should not be taking out 3 ice types on its way to a 4 kill. You should not be able to take out an Alolan Ninetales, a Glaceon, and a Mamoswine all in the same battle right there. That's not Pokemon. That's MOBA stuff right there.
That's pretty insane. Especially with all those ice types. Glaceon, oh no way.
I know Unite doesn't have the actual type resistances and matchups, but yeah, in my mind, I'm like, cool. Garchomp is only two ice moves, one for the Yachi Berry, the other will take it out. But yeah, absolutely insane play right here. Just saying, oh, y'all want to surrender? No.
I got this.
Let's win.
It's all right. My back's tired from carrying y'all. But moving on to number 2, who we got at number 2?
Yeah, number 2, we've got Strawberry Milk TV, one of the most insane plays right here. This Zapdos clear, 4 kills in 30 seconds. 3 of them on Zapdos, dancing around this Snorlax like, I don't know. I've never seen this. It is just straight up clowning on the Snorlax, continuing to just do damage, get away, do damage, get away. Oh, you're gonna attack Zapdos? Okay, I'm gonna attack you.
Zapdos, they're just gonna move right on in.
And you know what? I'll take the Crawdaunt while I'm at it. Sure, why not?
Make sure
a couple extra points. Yeah.
There we go. And cleaning up there. I mean, what is Zapdos steal? It wouldn't be a top 10 plays of the month if we didn't include at least one Zapdos steal, right?
Yeah, I mean, are we going forward? Are they going to have to all be Rayquaza steals? Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be. But that Snorlax, putting in the work on that Snorlax, I mean, look, you see right here, it gets into that position. It ults to get all of its health back. And he's taking out an entire Snorlax just by fucking around it, right? As you were saying, just absolutely clowning it.
Just a little damage here. Get out of the way. Oh, you want a body slam? Oh, sorry, I'm just gonna sidestep you. Right. I'm faster than you. Get over it.
That's the kind of speed in distance that dotrio would like to have, but of course it's a physical attacker. Anyways,
You want to bring us home with number 1?
I will. Bringing us home for the number 1, Jorga, another Dark Aura Unite Unite staff member. This dude is one of the most insane Delphox players that we have seen, bar none. The way this works: Mystical Fire first, then you Flame Charge. Cooldown gets reduced if you get hit with Mystical Fire, so you have infinite resets. Therefore, you have infinite kiting. You can just absolutely decimate these opponents, and we see that put to great use here with the Flame Charge. Absolutely insane plays there, and looks like
we're missing the replay, but that was
replay, but
there it is. Yeah, we're back. That is just insane, the ability to just like do damage, back away, do damage, back away. I'm gonna pester you, I'm gonna draw you to me, and then I'm gonna take you out.
These ranged characters in Unite, they're just absolutely insane. And look, you can see just how much you get out of that cooldown reduction and able to just ridiculously put out damage there for the rest of the team. And it's essentially, yeah, another 5v1 situation where they're all just coming after him, and you just run and fire from behind you. You know,
yeah.
Resident Evil style.
Yeah, just continue to draw him into you, whatever. You took out the Snorlax, who cares? I'm gonna take you out one by one.
Right. Even the power swap Mr. Mime is not enough to help it. But I think that will do it, and that will wrap it up for our top 10 plays. Oh no. Of the month. Sponsored again by Dark Aura VGC. A big shout out to all of everyone that's hanging out with us here. And let me see if I can pull that up here. Real AJJ, of course, ATX VGC. Thank you again to Adam Santacos and Nino. And yeah, if you made a play that you think would be worthy of our top 5 plays, be sure to hit us up on Twitter or Discord or anything else. But that'll do it. That brings us to the end. That'll wrap it up for this episode of Silph Co Sports. Of course, big shout out to everyone tuning in tonight. Big shout out to everyone donating tonight. And we'd like to remind our viewers, if you like what you see or hear on the show tonight, be sure, whether on Twitch or YouTube, be sure to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe for even more content. If you want more of me, you can always find me on Twitch or TikTok or Twitter at Roosebane. Also, be sure to tune into the break room on New Rockstars. Gems, where can they find you?
Yeah, for sure. You can find me at Gem3Z on Twitch as well as on Twitter. No TikTok for me yet, but you know, I enjoy watching it. I don't do a whole lot on the content side of it, but yeah, thanks so much. And yeah, that was awesome.
Amazing matches, and some amazing top 5 plays. Of course, big shout out to our strange pink blob behind the curtain, producer Upsmash. You can find his content in the description of our YouTube videos and right here in chat if you're chilling with us live on Twitch. Also want
to do a big shout out for the Wide League as well as Dark Aura. Be sure to give both of them a follow, and finally a shout out to Elite Pokebox for always sponsoring the prizes when we got them.
And that's about it. That's all we got for you guys tonight. We'll see you next time. Stick around for the after show with the one and only WD Michael coming right at you. Till then.
All right, raid